We'll now consider agenda item number 10.
Discussion regarding the creation of a Historic Preservation Commission HPC advisory group. This item was requested by Councilmember Janet Court and Councilmember Gina Hicks on January 29th, 2026.
All right, Councilmember Court and Councilmember Hicks, you have the floor.
I'll go ahead and start since I started this. So there's a big difference between a historical designation and a historical preservation commission. The historical, I'm going to just read this because I'm terrible at free speech. The historical preservation designation does not require a state or national approval and can be applied to either a district, an individual area, or a particular building that provides historical or cultural significance to the local community. The Katy Rice Dryers have been major landmarks, as many people have mentioned, not only for Katy residents, but for the millions of people who have driven the I-10 corridor. So let me just keep reading. An historical preservation commission should be comprised of structural engineers and residents who value the local history and culture. The commission should stand on its own and not be a no commission, but a commission with a vision that can come up with innovative ways of blending history without sacrificing safety or the ADA codes. So that's number one. Safety and ADA has to trump everything else. Today's building codes cannot easily be applied to 80-year-old structure. So there are a lot of cities that have these historical preservation commissions, and lots of them. The ordinance range from as little as 2 pages to 25 plus pages. So some of the towns I've found that have this type of commission are Richmond, Palestine, League City, Orange, Dripping Springs, Belton, Paris, Brenham, Grapevine, New Braunfels, Nacogdoches, and everybody knows my favorite is Fredericksburg. So all I'm really asking for at this point is for an advisory board to be created to research this issue and come back with recommendations such as is a full-blown ordinance needed, or do we need something more like a historical board of appeals? Paul kind of stepped on my last sentence. I'm always hoping that we could have this in place and brought before council, this council before the last meeting in April. So my requests for this commission are safety and ADA regulations must come first. 7 members of structural engineers and and the structural engineers, if we have to go outside the city limits, I think the value that a structural engineer brings is important. And then community citizens who value the history of Katy. No property owners nor members of any associations that could benefit from this commission should be allowed as a commission member. So if the commission wants their input, they can bring them in, ask questions and whatever, but I don't want there to be a conflict of interest. And then also I'm interested to know, have them look around and see how many buildings or areas do they foresee as actually qualifying for this. So right now we're looking more for information from people who know better than we do, experts, structural engineers, historians, and let's see where we go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Court. Those were definitely great things I think we're aligned on. And just as a point of discussion, as everyone, I appreciate everyone who came tonight to make comments during the public comments. I really appreciate the feedback that we're getting on this issue. And because it is, these dryers are something, like you even go outside of the city limits to restaurants and there will be paintings of them on the wall. There will be photos all over. I mean, it is an iconic structure in Katy. And we've seen other cities like Sugar Land with the sugar factory and different ones that the city has stepped in to help developers preserve some of those areas that don't fall into our international building codes. The International Building Code 2021 code that we currently follow is over 1,000 pages. 80 years ago, we didn't even have that. We had a era building code, a uniform building code that was adopted from local areas. It was only a couple hundred pages. And then you add in all the electrical codes and all those other things that don't fit for these structures. However, that's not to say we shouldn't consider safety. So that is, I do appreciate that priority with this, but we want to be business friendly. We appreciate that we're not having to use taxpayer dollars to restore an iconic facility, that we have private investors, we have private companies who are willing to risk their own pockets in order to give back to a community. So I do appreciate that and just want to at least give an effort where we can to cooperate with this effort. And if we have engineers that come in and say, hey, this is a really bad idea, then we're going to listen to that. But we are, just the staff is put in a hard position that our inspectors have to follow the building codes that we've adopted, the 2021 building code, the 2023 electrical code. And so if there is an opportunity to have an advisory group that can help us creatively still be in compliance, still adhere to the responsibilities we have as a city, but also be friendly for preserving history, for allowing an entertainment area, and also just an educational area, as has been mentioned. I'd love to see that happen. So just as many as shown up here tonight, if there are people who are listening or feel they would be qualified for this group, definitely email council members at City of Katy or the city secretary, because we will need those recommendations from people. And that's how we formed a lot of our advisory groups in the past, is from very experienced people who have a lot more knowledge than we do. And just one other thing to say about this area is I'm amazed the number of times that I have visited the beer garden or the distilleries in that area. I really don't see a lot of people I know. These areas, this entertainment area that we've had an advisory group for in the past, is bringing in people from 100 miles away, and people come here and they do spend some time here because of the development and the investment that's gone into this area. So that's exciting to see, and I definitely want to, as was mentioned before, we will have a new council up here, so the advisory of a group of professionals who understand all of this better than we do is appreciated.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate y'all bringing this forward. This is a great idea. I think going forward, it'd be great to have a group of people that can make these recommendations. And just want to be sure they bring it to their attention. We do have a similar ordinance on the Katy Heritage Park. Those houses were deemed in 2021 as under historical preservation, where they only have to meet the life safety codes. So maybe there's opportunity to bring this advisory group into also, with the Heritage Park homes. Just don't want any duplication of effort. And I know several years ago, the city spent quite a bit of money on a entertainment district. We had some consultants come through and had some public meetings. And, I'd like to see that with this advisory group, but maybe instead of having an entertainment district, it'd be the rice dryer district. And that be something that's the property owners, if they want to be in that rice dryer district, that district can have certain codes that they have to meet, because the primary purpose of the district would be the rice dryers. So I think we have that. I think that could be probably brought forward pretty quick. The original entertainment district is quite large and encompassing, but we know what area we're talking about. The Historic Preservation Commission Advisory Group would be great long-term and going forward, but we also have on paper right now what could be a rice dryer district. And so I'd like to see something move forward, and hopefully we can get that pretty quick. Thanks.
The first draft from the entertainment board from those consultants came in, and it was horrendous. I was pretty vocal about it. I thought it was detrimental to that district. They looked at parking garages, apartments. I mean, just it was draft. I posted it, and people didn't believe me. That's how bad it was. It wasn't protecting the dryers. It was not protecting the dryers. People called me a liar. I was like, no, it's actually a vision. And it did not protect them. And I don't think there's a person up here or anyone out there that would want these dryers not protected. And I want to make sure what's the easiest way. I mean, is there an easier way to protect these dryers? We got to look at the dryer itself, and then we have to look at the extension, the ancillary buildings around it. But the history's been, I've mentioned time and time again, the historical homes here that you can't live in, that you have to have a business in. There's two of them right there that were my family's. My great-grandfather built the second rice dryer in town that burned down. Part of the largest fire in Katy history. There's not a, we would all do what? No codes. No codes. But Rachel, is there any way to do this more expeditiously than having another advisory department that's going to slow it down? I want it done. I mean, I love what he's done. I mean, he's a hero for me for doing what he's done with this rice dryer. I'd love to see it all the way down. Left alone with some, buildings around it. But I want them to see. I remember driving when I was a kid, walking out my front yard. You could hear the hum. You could hear that constant hum all night long. I know how important these things are, and I think every one of you guys appreciate what they stand for. And I forget who said it, but every logo that you see from a business in Katy has the Cardiff rice jar on it. And it's something that we've always been proud of. And I love the new paint job. I know some people will agree they want it rustic, but I like the new paint job. I love that you brought the Christmas tree back. This is all stuff that's Katy. As much as we've changed, this is Katy that I love, that we've fought for, and we've tried the best we could. But that's what I'm asking. I want to know, is there an easier way for him? I've talked to you, and I said, if you can get it on council, we'll ask. And so you got it up here. So is there an easier way for somebody to tell us, is there an ordinance? Can we just pass the ordinance?
Is the entertainment district, was that ordinance
No,
already?
that was not an ordinance.
There was no ordinance for that?
Correct.
No.
That was part of an amendment we were looking at to the comprehensive plan.
And before you go, let me just, generally, the answer is going to be to not do an exemption, but to create separate regulations that they have to go by. So that's kind of my legal answer, is like, we can't just accept them via ordinance. We're going to have to create regulations that they then abide by.
Would that be easier and
So
quicker?
I think that's how what the advisory board would do, is kind of what I'm gathering.
That's what I'm asking for. Structural engineers who know the safety and the ADA rules, but just because current code says you have to do it such and such way, which means tearing into a concrete wall or tearing something down, this group of engineers can come up and say, we can still do it safely without violating anything by doing it a little bit different. And that's how most of these work when I did the research. The commissions had final approval on structure and engineering and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really think we have anything currently Otherwise, we wouldn't be here if we had something currently that could be applied to this.
And
Now,
maybe to,
somebody told me we did not, I thought the historic homes had a.
That was my question. How'd we do the, I remember doing it.
Somebody told me we did not have that.
No, we did it, because Art, her child and me wrote it, and you were my second on it when we brought it to council in 21.
Okay.
And we did, yeah, we wrote it, and it's 3.02521 is the code, but we did specifically exempt
Can,
those houses.
Becky, could we have somebody in your department send that code out to everybody?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I don't want to slow him down any more than he has to. Of course, make it safe. And I know he wants to make it safe too. And so I want to make sure it's a smooth from here on out. And it hasn't been smooth for him.
It has not been, which
It's
is
been-
why I
it-
think maybe like a board of appeals. I don't know. You call it
Whatever,
what you want.
that's what, we got to count on staff. We got to have staff come up with
Yeah,
something.
definitely
He's been
need their
begging
input.
for years for help on this. And so I'm glad it's up here now. So let's
Well,
finish out. Let's
Well,
get him,
Could he
let's
not
get him
come
to the
through
finish line
before
now.
building and standards or anything? Could he not do that?
From my research, no, that's not set up to appeal certain building codes. That's more to appeal interpretations of building codes. So no, he couldn't go to the BSC to ask for a variance from a specific building code.
I will say I've had some engineers and some other people reach out to me that they're very interested in being part of this commission.
I think it's a great idea, if it doesn't slow him down. I don't want it, I don't want it.
Well, that's why I say Paul kind of stepped on me, because I was hoping to have something final by the last meeting in April, but I understand where our candidates are maybe wanting us to slow down, but I would like for this council to wrap it up.
I would too. He started it under this council, let's finish it under this council.
Exactly.
Sorry, Paul.
I think Paul was just assuming we would be that slow. No, that's my thing as well. And if you have any insight to this, I know I've talked with builders in Sugar Land, that they're like, who is the man behind the curtain? Like, there is this historic commission that you cannot get anything passed by because they control so much, and I don't want that to happen.
No.
And so that's where, instead of, we thought an advisory preservation commission would be a better fit than some of the others that we've seen in other cities. I don't know if you have any thoughts on
Yeah, I
your
think
experience.
That's definitely a better path. Historically, preservation commissions that you see actually add more red tape and more requirements. So it's not necessarily, they're there to preserve the building, but that usually means the historic integrity, which anytime they want to paint it, anytime they want to put an awning up, anything like that, it would have to go before a historic preservation commission before they could even submit permits to the building department. So that's not a route I would recommend. Ultimately, it doesn't seem like that's the route y'all are wanting us to.
I'm going to correct you on that, because I've seen some that are 2 pages and they don't talk about colors or anything like that. Then I've seen others that are very, very detailed. So that's why I think if we had an advisory board, they could find the happy medium for Katy.
Sure.
And to answer Bridget's point, I think that's what our goal is have an advisory group to look at Katy specifically. Say, here's areas, because like you said, I know some commercial business owners that haven't been able to remodel some of these historic homes in the old Katy district because of the regulations and different things that they would have to comply to bring it up to code. And so that's where I feel like it could be more than just the dryers, even though the rice dryer district is a nice thought. And that might be the right thing, but more of an advisory group that can kind of look at it as a whole and not cause more red tape or more just pain for developers, but to make it something that's beneficial for the city.
Yeah. One of the things I said when I read was a count of how many other buildings or areas could benefit from something like this.
Yeah.
Which, what you just touched on.
Hold on. Councilmember Taylor, you have any questions?
I'm good.
I'll give you a chance. All right, go ahead.
You really want to jump in on this hot topic?
I'm just listening to you.
I just looked out in the audience, Ms. Adams, when we were getting the historical marker at Katy Elementary, when we were going through that process, I remember when working with Katy ISD, at first they were flat against any sort of designation because they were very concerned about the additional red tape going through the Texas Historical Commission. Is that so? I was a little concerned about getting this designated, and I appreciate your understanding. It's preservation and not historical
Right.
designation. But I was also wishing that since we spent all the money for the idea of the entertainment district, we could just shoehorn that into a rice dryer district and get going on using all the benefits that we had already paid for. And long, I think this is a great idea. I'm for the advisory group, but maybe we can do two things at one time and have the rice dryer district with those special codes that require life safety only, just similar to the historic homes.
We still need to get a structural engineer,
Yes.
Absolutely, agree.
so, I mean, it's not something we can flip a switch and just, we need to get some structural engineers on the group, give us some information, let us see what we can do. You know, we've invested, you know, a lot of money already in that district by building
$85,000.
You know, by building 114 parking spaces.
Okay, but $85,000
For the garden itself, and so we're definitely wanting to go forward. So let us get the engineers on board. Let us get the advisory group started and send names to the council people, and we'll take it from there.
There was still additional benefit for the neighborhoods back there too, not just for the entertainment district. When we did that drainage, not arguing with you, but
Well, right.
I stressed that to the 3rd, 5th, 4th, and 3rd Street over there.
What? And I'm keeping this on the agenda here. So about the advisory group, if going off of the advisory group discussion, what if this hadn't come up? What would have been the plan with the entertainment district that we've worked on that has just kind of faltered?
So that is a document that is still live.
It's on our comprehensive plan.
It's not officially been adopted as an amendment to the comp plan, so eventually it would have come back. We just had kind of shelved it while other items were more pressing. So
But you also have to remember there's a lot of private property, and we can't go in there and just
Yeah, but this
dictate to private
Yeah.
property owners.
right. But if we had a rice dryer district with these codes that maybe this advisory group would come up with, the owner, maybe Andrew, would want to be part of that district because he'd have codes that were specific to the rice dryers. I don't know who else would want to be in that district, but if that was a benefit to that owner, he would want to be in that district and be able to utilize those the buildings to the fullest extent as he can. So I think that advisory group would be really great.
Well, and the Historic Preservation Commission, again, it can be assigned to an area, a parcel of land, or a building. So you wouldn't have to, let's say, just all the owners of the rice dryers wanted to be part of it. You could label that as a district overlay. So it gives you flexibility as to how you want to address that.
Well, so now we need a motion, correct, on what we actually want to set up?
Yes, just a motion directing the city manager to coordinate this advisory group.
Okay. I'd like to move that the city administrator set up a process where we can pull together this advisory committee and move forward. Pardon?
Advisory group. Advisory group.
Group. Oh, did I say? I thought I said group. This Historical Preservation Commission Advisory Group.
Second.
How about that?
So I had the motion by Councilmember Court and seconded by Councilmember Hicks. So let's go ahead. All those,
I'm sorry, I have a question.
you're too late.
No, we just had a motion and a second. When this group is this going to come back to us, or is now administration going to? Okay,
Yeah.
because I just want to be sure that the group also looks at our current codes, because I want to be sure that the I don't want them going off in a different way. I just want to be sure the group also is using the current codes that we're looking at.
Well, I am requesting that it comes back before council.
You're requesting it.
And I have a question. So is it going to be just looking at this dryer right now, or looking at it, like, looking at all the different options we have for it?
Okay, so
Like a
one of
rice
the,
dryer
one of,
district.
one of the things I said was, we know the dryers, but we also want to count of, I asked for a count of how many other buildings or areas do they foresee as qualifying for this.
So eventually, okay, gotcha.
So whatever they see that could possibly, this could be applied to. That's part of the advisory group.
And there'll be protection and advancement of these properties too. Like the rice dryer, like the other rice dryers, there'll be items that they're gonna look at to protect those. And then there's also gonna be some where they can also
Whatever the
build.
advisory group comes up with and.
I'm just trying to, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't, I feel like you're trying to get me to answer
No,
for the
no.
advisory group. So I don't know enough.
I just want to make
give
sure
a
it's something
definitive
good.
answer on the
It actually gets
structural
something
stuff.
done.
Yeah.
I want something done here.
Yeah,
And so-
I do too.
Could-
I think we're missing a golden opportunity.
Could you put in your motion with priority for the rice dryer so they can report back to us quicker? Yeah, because otherwise, if they're sitting there looking at all the property, that's going to take them a long time.
Well,
I mean,
we
would
will
that-
take, I would say, we hear everything you're saying.
I know, but
We've
I don't
got
like
it.
that when you say that, Mr. Attorney, because then it doesn't always translate, so.
Do we have a timeline of when they come back?
Well, that,
She's saying
Well,
the
can
last
I-
meeting in April.
I've asked for the last meeting in April for them to come back with us, unless you want periodic. Do you want
It's not
a
that far.
report like at the end of March?
Well,
and
usually
then
we do
it-
60 or 90 days. Just,
Well, 60 days would be the end of April.
okay,
April
60 days.
27th.
Yeah,
So, Ms. Court,
You can
I'm gonna,
specify.
okay, April 27th, the April 27th meeting,
okay.
when we'd like to have a report
Now,
back.
can I you wanted 7 structural engineers. Is that what you had mentioned?
No, no,
No.
I wanted 7, I was thinking minimum of 7 people on the commission.
Okay,
That includes, I'm thinking like maybe 5 structural engineers and
Or 3.
4 or 5,
I'd say
and then a couple of people that
That's a lot.
are familiar with Katy's history and the importance of it.
okay.
Because the structural engineer, they may get just focused on the technical part of it, but we still need
No,
somebody there
yeah.
to represent the.
I don't think we should put a number of how many there, I mean, maybe a minimum of 2.
what?
2 structural engineers, you're not gonna get that many.
Okay.
And so, or 5 would be, especially in Katy. And so, and you might surprise me, but I think that's too many chef
Well,
cooks in the
let's-
kitchen.
Let's see what you can get.
Okay.
I mean, if you can't get that many and you can only get 2 or 3 or whatever, then
Yeah.
we'll just, again, this is research.
Got it. Okay, I'm good.
could you put in your motion with priority for the rice dryers?
Oh,
They have
I am in my motion to add priority given to the rice dryers.
That makes me feel much better. I was going to vote yes either way.
You have to second that.
Second, the amendment. Now we got to vote yes for that.
How many times do we have to, how many votes do we have to have?
Okay, so all those in favor for the amendment to prioritize the rice dryers, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion carries. Now, as the motion as amended, do I have a motion for that?
No.
Okay, now we're just calling for the vote on that. All right, all those in favor for the amended motion?
Aye.
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 All opposed, no. That motion carries. Okay. So we'll go to the mayor and council member reports.